Thanks for coming and check it out. Dish it out with me. Really appreciate it. Oh, I hope you had a good long May 2 weekend. We had the in-laws come over for the weekend. It was actually really good. I am very lucky and very thankful to have good in-laws. They're so great to us, and I can be myself around those people too, which makes a huge difference when you can actually be yourself around people and not have to, like, you know, kind of put on a front at all. They've seen me at my best and they've seen me at my worst. Thankfully, I'm still accepted in their family. I mean, my son's watching The Wiggles, and when my oldest boy was a little baby, he watched The Wiggles too. But it was a different cast then. There's only Anthony is the same one now. Now I don't know if anybody here watches The Wiggles with their kids, but with the new cast, man, Emma and Lockie, they're definitely fugging. And if not, they should be. These are the thoughts that I have when I'm home alone with my baby. There's a new term that I learned from my husband about, what's it called? Anamorphalizing or something? I can't remember what he said. I'm gonna have to look it up and I'll add it right here. So, basically what that means and what he explains to me is that it's when people give like kind of implement personalities on animals just to kind of, or so that you have like more of so that they have a persona and a personality, and it kind of gives them like reason as to why they do what they do, type of thing. And I think that's it seems like that's where a lot of the issues come in for people when it comes to hunting and things like that, because they don't want to see the animal killed and they're defending that animal. Well, I do understand that that point of view from vegetarians and vegans and people like that. However, I would argue that, well, actually, you know what? First of all, I would agree. We have a cat, and he has an amazing personality. Anyone who owns animals and has pets, you'll see the personality in them. And I really don't think it's me putting my own, like, implementing a personality on him, because especially with cats, they're very, like, they'll come to you when they want pets. When they want love and affection, they'll come to you. Otherwise, you can just fuck off and get out of their way. It's pretty much the gist of what cats are like. But, I don't know, I feel like all animals around the whole world have a personality of some sort. When you look at, you know, elephant families, you can see the love and see how they protect and care for one another. Now, does that mean we shouldn't hunt any animals? No. I don't believe that just because it has a personality that you shouldn't, you should still be able to kill it for food, even though it has a personality. Now, that may sound a little fucked up to people, but consider this. They recently came out with studies proving that, I don't know how they could prove it, or maybe it's just a theory. I'm gonna have to find a link for that too for you. Okay, for example, you know when you cut the grass and you have that fresh cut grass smell? Oh, it smells so good and fresh, and it reminds you of spring and summertime and beautiful weather, right? Because nobody cuts the grass in the rain. It has to be sunny. But that smell you're smelling is the grass communicating with other grass blades, letting it know that it's being murdered right now. It's being chopped down, and it's like a warning to the other ones that this is what's happening. They found the similar things happen in trees. Mushrooms as well. Mushrooms are different. That's a whole different species. Mushrooms are thinking are more like a fungi is more like but more alive like an animal than a plant. But what I'm trying to state is I think it's all alive. Plants and animals. Why can't they have personalities? Why can't they have a life and their own thoughts? I don't know what they're thinking. I remember in philosophy class learning, I think, therefore I am. And that's the only way you can prove to yourself that you exist. I don't know that my son right there really exists. because it's just my perspective, my perception of him through my own perspective. I could never get in their heads and think what they're thinking. And you can't do that with any animal or with any plant life or any other human. All you can do is see it from your own point of view. So anyway, what I'm saying is, if the science does come out and prove that yes, all animals have a personality and they think and they're conscious, and then when the science comes out to prove the same thing for plant life, what are we going to do then? What are you going to eat? We gotta eat. That's the cycle of life. Yes, that's my Lion King impression. A cycle of life. You have to. And I think the only reason people, I think, have an issue with accepting that is because we see ourselves as above the food chain. We're not. We're in the food chain. We are a part of nature. We're not above nature. So once you really accept that, it gets easier to understand that, yes, we all have personalities. We all have life. But guess what? Life eats life. Everywhere. There's no exceptions. In the whole world, life eats life. Even if you're a vegetarian, you're eating life. You're eating that plant life. Sorry if that makes you feel guilty, but maybe you take a moment, self-reflect, and think about that. I understand people who want to become vegetarian because of the terrible meat industry that's going on right now. And it's not new, it's just that I guess more people are opening their eyes to it. Man, the way animals are slaughtered and raised, certain animals, like, they're getting better now. They're doing a lot of the free range lifestyles, which is great, but I mean, they're still a penned up, caged animal. The most humane way, I guess, would be to take an animal that's been running at free, like really free, not just free range, free in the world, to go wherever they can, and hunt that animal in its own environment. But I understand the need for agricultural, industrialized meat. I just think the way we're doing it is not right. And I'm going to take a wild guess and say it's very wasteful as well. And I was talking about the industry itself before the meat gets into people's homes. We know so much food is wasted by people in their homes. It's crazy. I really try not to do that. If there's leftovers in the fridge, guess what? I'm not making supper. You bitches are eating leftovers. And that's what we did last night. I don't know if it's because I'm Dutch or what, but waste not, want not. I learned that when working at a Dutch retirement home by some very lovely people. So my youngest is 9 months old now. It's just a little bit older than that. I remember when I was in the hospital, and it was the next day after I gave birth to him, and I was waiting to get discharged that day. And the nurse who came to check us all out and let us know we're okay to go, they had to like look you over, make sure everything's okay first. I remember asking her some questions, like, because I couldn't remember some details from my first pregnancy, because there's 4 years in between. So I asked her, I'm like, when can I start exercising again? And I was really gung-ho about getting back in shape. And she said something to me that really resonated with me, and I think about it all the time. She said, you know what, it took your body 9 months to get to where it is now. It's gonna take time before it gets back. It's not gonna happen in a couple weeks. I'm like, okay, you're right. Well, you know what? It's been 9 months and I'm feeling great. Shopping this past weekend, finally got myself some shorts. And I'm down from a size 12 before I was pregnant, down to a size 6. So I was super excited, super happy when I was in the change rooms trying them on, and I'm like, oh my, this size 6 fits. I was so excited. I stepped out, showed my mother-in-law, and then I saw there was a younger girl, like a teenage girl beside me, and inside the change room was her friend. She was waiting there, and I turned to her and I said, if you ever have a baby, make sure you breastfeed. He sucks the fat right out of you. And that's what happened. I breastfed my youngest one there for about 8 months. I wanted to stop at 6 months. But honestly, we're in the midst of moving and everything. It was really hard to cut him off from that, because it was just really tough to do. Plus, I think maybe part of me was kind of holding on to it a bit longer because I knew he's our last one that we're planning on having, and so I knew I wouldn't ever be doing that again. But man, breastfeeding, it does, you do lose a lot of weight, and it is the best thing for you and your baby. You get that close bonding time, and they're getting the best nutrients they can. It's just, they can't replicate breast milk, especially the first week or so. There was the colostrum or whatever it's called. That shit can't be replicated. So why not give that free food out, right? So yeah, I did it, and it can be hard. Oh my god, I got clogged duct in my one boob. Oh my god, that hurt so fucking bad. I actually went to the doctor because I thought like I had breast cancer or something because I felt a lump, and of course as soon as you feel a lump anywhere in your body you think it's cancer. So thankfully it wasn't. It was just clogged, and I just had to keep milking those udders. So did that, but there's like pumps you can buy and like little heating pads and shit. So did all that, done all that now. Lost the weight, I'm feeling great. Also, you know what, I want to say I didn't lose weight just by breastfeeding. I live by the phrase, all things in moderation. So that means I can have some chips, but maybe just buy one of those small bags, not the big giant bags, because I tend to eat the chips until the bag is empty. So if I just give myself a smaller portion, my craving is, I crunched my cravings. Is that the right term? But then I'm not overdoing it on the junk food either, so. And same with healthy food. You can't eat, you know, just healthy food all the time. You gotta mix it up, especially if it's the same thing every time. Your body needs a variety to get nutrients from different sources. I did read one thing when I was pregnant the first time around that also stuck with me. And it said, if you're craving something, it's most likely because there's something in that food that your body needs the nutrients from. So listen to those cravings, but eat in moderation. Don't overdo it. So that's what I've been doing since I was gonna say every time I get pregnant, not in between. I did gain a lot of weight in between. I got back up to my pregnancy weight, which was 170. And that's big for me. I'm only 5'2", so 170 was 170 pounds, not kilograms. I know, we're in Canada, but guess what? My parents taught me pounds, and that's what I learned too. So yeah, I did get pretty big in between. But now I do try to make sure I stick with all things in moderation. Oh, and also because I do exercise every day. I have an app on my phone called 7. It's a free app, because I'm not fucking paying for apps. That's stupid. I'll look at your little ads, but I'm not going to pay for your app. But this app, you can have an option to purchase it. I think you get more perks and things you can do with it that's more detailed. But I just do the free one, and it gives me a workout every day. And it's only 7 minutes. That's why it's called 7. If you can make 7 minutes out of your day dedicated to exercising, and then maybe another 5 minutes for stretching, you're golden. At least it's something. It's better than nothing, okay? It may not be a fucking marathon, but if you're on a budget and you're limited for time, that's what I do. So I was pretty excited about that. Oh, another thing though about losing weight is your boobs will shrink too. So that's fun. I said that to my husband yesterday. I was talking about that. I'm like, I need to buy new bras now because I'm not filling them out like I was. I'm not about to stuff my bras, please. I'm 32 years old. I ain't stuffing my titties with tissue paper, napkins and shit. No, no. If you're 32 years old, or if you are, actually, I'm going to rephrase that. If you're past your 20s, don't stuff your bra, okay? You should be confident enough in your body. Big titties or little titties, it doesn't matter. Guys, fucking suckle them anyway, or girls, whatever you want. But you should by now be comfortable in your own body and not try to live up to other people's standards. That's ideal, I guess. Otherwise, if you just can't get past it, get a boob job. But anyway, man, I pointed that out to him last night. I'm like, I think my boobs shrunk. And I'm like, fuck, man, they look like shriveled up water balloons. Like, I don't like my boobs anymore. Thank God, he's so sweet, you know. But you know what? we don't really bullshit each other. When we've got something to say, we say it. Sometimes we'll try to make it sound nicer, but we tend not to sugarcoat things or dance around issues. If you have something to say, we say it. And so I said that to him, and he said, he's like, oh yeah, I was thinking about that last time you were riding me, that your boobs looked smaller. I'm like, oh, thanks. But then he reassured me that they didn't look like disgusting water balloons. So I don't know if he was being real or just being polite. But you know what? We're all our own worst critics, aren't we? You've been there to some degree. We're all our own worst critics. So yeah, that's funny. I just went from talking about being comfortable in your own skin to I hate my boobs. So it's not as easily said as done, right? So I did a little mini photo shoot the other day. That was fun, and I have a logo being made up for me right now. So that's exciting. Hopefully, maybe by the time I post this, it'll be ready and I can attach it. If not, that's cool. It'll be on the next one. But I'm pretty excited because it's by a woman I used to work with. Her name's Karen, and she does graphic design. Karen Bashura, she's a very talented lady, and I worked with her at Norris-Whitney Communications, which is a magazine publisher and book distributor. They print Canadian musician, Canadian music sound, Canadian Music Trade magazine, professional sound, professional lighting, and production. So 4 magazines. It's kind of like an umbrella for the music industry. And I worked there right after college. I did my co-op there. And then it just so happens that Dana, the girl who was there before me, she was leaving. So her position opened up as assistant editor. Actually, it was originally editorial assistant. And then after so much time, I got a raise to assistant editor. They offered me the job and I jumped right on that, of course. So that was based in St. Catharines, Ontario. And that was really exciting. I worked there for a few years. I got to travel to New York City, San Francisco, Anaheim, California. And then like some flights and stuff in between. So I've been to New Jersey, I've been to LAX airport. So that was really cool and really exciting. I left sort of on a personal issue. I disagreed with something my boss did. However, looking back, man, I really regret how I left the company. I don't want to really give details because I don't want to spoil the name of the company. It was a good company. I liked working there a lot. There was basically a disagreement between me and my boss, and I just kind of took off and left. I wish I had talked and worked it out more. But I was young. And honestly, I just was immature, and I handled it very immaturely. So, one life lesson, it's the way she goes, right? But honestly, it just got to the point where I got sick of writing about fretboards and pearl inlay and fucking effects machines and stuff. It was basically all about products. Basically, all I would do is receive a press release, rewrite it, and put it out there. And I wasn't doing anything original and using my own creativity. And that's what I was really craving and thriving on. And then when my editor left the company, he hired a different editor instead of promoting me to editor. And I think my nose got a little bent out of shape over that. But I did have the experience. I understood where he was coming from. But at the same time, I was like, fuck, this should be my position now. What the hell? And you know what? Working in the music industry is definitely a male-dominated field. But I get along, for the most part, with guys anyway. But I remember this one asshole, man. I met him, I was with my editor, Jeff. And he shook Jeff's hands, and nice to meet you. And Jeff introduced me. He's like, this is our assistant editor. And he goes, oh, you're the assistant editor. So what's that mean? You get his coffee? Fucking dick. And I look at him like, no, doesn't mean that. And then Jeff looked like he was a little embarrassed from just the whole situation and didn't know how to smooth it out, and they just carried on with their conversation. I don't think I fucking talked to that guy again. Because that's ignorant. You don't say that to people. Would he have said that if I was a guy? Probably not. That was probably a sexist remark. And I don't remember your name or company where you were from, but if you're watching this, you can go fuck yourself. I'll never hear it. Oh, I watched Steven Tyler on Joe Rogan's podcast the other day. Amazing. It was really good to listen to or watch. I watch it on YouTube. And I remember he was Steven Tyler was talking about when he was on was American Idol. I didn't watch that show at all. I think it was American Idol he was on, or America's Got Talent, or one of those fucking shows. But anyway, he had to go and be a judge. And he said he had a hard time telling some women, or guy, I think he was talking mostly about women, about if they couldn't sing, he couldn't be mean to them. He's such a sweetheart. He's like, well, what if that woman later on in life, if she has a baby and the baby's crying in the middle of the night and she wants to sing to the baby to calm the baby down, but she can't because J-Lo or Steven or whoever famous that she looked up to told her she can't sing. So then she'll never sing to her baby. I'm like, oh my God, Steven Tyler, you just melted my heart. I thought that was really, really sweet for him to think of that and have that consideration. Fuck, I know I can't sing. I try and I love it. Just like karaoke, I'll do karaoke, but I can't really carry a tune. One of the last times I sang karaoke at Hamilton, I sang Faith by Limp Bizkit. Fucking A. I was a huge Limp Bizkit fan in high school. I begged my parents for one of the red New York Yankees ball cap. Didn't watch baseball, didn't give a fuck about baseball. I only got it because Fred Durst had one. So I remember wearing that all over. So I sang Faith by Limp Bizkit and I gave her, man. That was fun. I'll send out, I think I have it posted online somewhere. I'll have to share the link. But yeah, I say that I sing karaoke the same way I play baseball. I suck at it, but I have fun and I love doing it. You know, I can't remember who said this. It was a comedian I was listening to. I think it was an interview that they were doing. Shit, I can't remember even who it was now. But they said that when they're alone watching TV or something and see something funny, they don't really laugh out loud if they're by themselves. Fuck that. I laugh out loud all the time. It doesn't matter if the joke is, if it's a complicated joke and I'm delayed in getting it and understanding the joke. If it's funny and it's worth a laugh, I'll laugh my ass off. I'll watch a stand-up at home by myself and just laugh loud. I never hold back my laughter. And I've also learned never to hold back dancing freely either. I don't go to a concert and rock out as if I'm alone in my bedroom. A lot of people, I think, hold back when they're go to concerts because you're surrounded by people you don't know, and a lot of people are just self-conscious and they want to look cool or whatever. You know what? The coolest people are the ones that don't give a fuck what other people think. Yeah, don't mind my wet marks up here. It's me fucking pulling up my bra straps because I need a new titty holder. An over-the-shoulder boulder holder. That's from Beaches. Have you ever seen Beaches? I watched the To-Do List with Aubrey Plaza on Netflix, and they referenced Beaches in that. That movie was really good. It was basically like American Pie for chicks. Oh, I can't believe I almost forgot to say this. I watched Black Panther last night. Whoa, that movie was fucking awesome. Michonne, sorry, I don't know her real name. I know that's terrible. Go look it up after this. But man, Michonne kicks ass in it. I love her. She was so good. So good, Michonne. But yeah, Black Panther. It's one of those movies where you don't want to blink. The action was amazing. The choreography of the fights was amazing. I don't want to give details away because it's really, really good. You should really go see it. But also, and this isn't really spoiling it because you do see it in the previews. The guards of the king. It's Michonne is the leader. Those guards, they're all women, and they wear these like awesome red armor dresses or suits or whatever, and they're all bald. You never see white chicks who are bald and it looks good. A white chick, if a white woman's bald, she's probably going through chemotherapy, and it's sad. But when you see a black woman that's bald, she can own it. Like, black women can own baldness. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. It just looks powerful. Yeah, I think I got a femme boner over Michonne last night. Whoa. Yeah, you had to see it. And Martin Freeman was in it too. I didn't expect to see him. I love Martin Freeman. He's such a good actor. I would love to see him play like a crazy psychological thriller type of movie though. But like if he was the bad guy in it, that would be amazing because I think he could do it. And I think he would surprise us all because he's great as like a detective with Sherlock Holmes. He's awesome as sweet friendly little hobbit Bilbo. Yeah, I just think that would be really cool to see him be like psycho killer or something. That'd be crazy. He could be the next Hannibal Lecter, Clarice. I don't know how to. And what the fuck's he do? So weird. Some weird sound in his mouth. I was really kind of depressed and in a funk yesterday. Man, sometimes it's hard to listen to other people's problems without taking on that negative energy and chaos and those awkward feelings sometimes. And then I had a family member who was passive-aggressively giving me a guilt trip on Facebook. That's always fun to deal with, so yeah. Lots of emotional tears yesterday. It's the fucking perks of being a woman, eh? Goddamn estrogen. Actually, I used to say that to my son. If I was upset or crying, he'd be like, "What's wrong, Mommy?" I'm like, "Oh, it's just estrogen." It's like, "Oh, okay." But today's a new day. It's sunny, and I'm feeling good. Hey there, so I just want to add one more thing to this video that I forgot from earlier today. The kids are in bed. I'm just zipping up these dishes from supper time. But about Black Panther. After I watched it, I had to look it up, okay? Because most of you, I'm sure you've heard of the Black Panther group from the 60s. The social movement, which was a group of black men and women. I believe there was women as well. Of course, standing up for their civil rights at that time. Man, that must have been a fucking unbelievably tough time to live through as a black person. Maybe not so bad as a white person. It'd be rough as a woman still, but you know, fuck. I'm glad I don't live back in that day. But I had to look it up because first of all, I haven't heard of Black Panther, the comic book hero, until like about a year or two ago, and I think it definitely would have been my husband who introduced me to it, because I never got into Marvel and all that before I knew him. So when I heard of him, the comic book, I of course thought about the group. And I kind of chuckled. I just thought that was odd that they made a comic book after the group. And of course, I heard about the group originally from Forrest Gump. And I know it's terrible, but I think I really don't remember learning about that in history class. Like we learned about in grade 10 history in Ontario, Canada, pretty much involved World War I and mostly World War II. I don't remember learning a whole lot about issues like that. I remember actually in English class we did do a whole Black History Month, and I learned we did our project on Rosa Parks. I know a couple other guys did, you know, Malcolm X, and of course Martin Luther King, but I don't think we learned about the Black Panther Party. It was definitely Forrest Gump that taught me about the Black Panther Party. And you know, he was so polite there. "I didn't mean to fight in the middle of your Black Panther Party." He didn't have to apologize. That guy was being a goof, smacking Jenny. Fucking dick. Grew up with that movie. I love it. I always think about my best friend growing up, Jeffrey Morschfelder. We used to tie, for some reasons, we would go swimming in my pool at my house, and we would tie our we'd tie our towels around our head. You know how you tie your hair up, and it's terrible. But we called it Aunt Jemima at the time because we thought it was funny. We weren't being racist. We were kids. We just thought it was cute to wear a towel on our heads. And I don't even know, Aunt Jemima doesn't have a towel. She has like a handkerchief on her head. Anyway, and then we would line up in front of my screen door and look at our reflection It would each take a turn. It would say, "Dear God, make me a bird so I can fly far, far, far away from here." And then here we go. And then I think my sister was in on it too. It's just this stupid shit kids do. But anyway, I learned about the Black Panther Party from Forrest Gump. And then I learned about the Black Panther comic book hero in my 30s. And by the way, Forrest Gump came out, what, like 95? So I was like 10. But after watching the Black Panther movie last night, which was fucking awesome again, I must say again, it was so great. Beautiful movie, like the scenery and the costumes. And, fuck, it was just very, very well done. But after I watched it, I had to look it up. I'm like, okay, what came first? The party or the superhero? So I looked it up, and according to some online sources, which I'll link below with the rest of the shit I mentioned here in this podcast, the Black Panther comic book came out in, what's that say, July of 1966, and the Black Panther Party was organized and started in October of 1966. So it was actually the comic book hero that came out first. But I don't know if they're actually connected. Like maybe somebody who started the Black Panther Party saw that. It was like, fucking right, finally there's a black hero. A comic book about a black man who's in charge and taking power and is powerful. You know, which is fucking awesome. So maybe they saw that and maybe that was a catalyst. Maybe that was inspiration for this whole movement. Or maybe they're just total fluke and unrelated at all. But to see only, like, the comic book comes out, and then what's June, July, August, September, October, 4 months later, the party is organized. I'd say they're most likely connected. So I just thought that was interesting. And I know, I told my husband about that, and he's like, man, that's fucked up. Like, that's one of the, oh, you just saw my cheat. I think that's one of the scariest scenes to make fun of. Little Jenny in the cornfield running from her abusive dad. Man, that was so fucked up. That's why she became a slut and got AIDS at the end of the movie. Spoiler alert! Because daddy fucked with her. So don't fuck your kids. What's wrong with you? God. It's a really quite simple task to do. Not fuck your kids. Jesus. Because then you create all the Jennies in the world. We had 12 Jennies. Okay, I'll stop. By the way, that's totally where I got my southern accent from. Which, oh my god, I just remembered one time I stuck my foot in my mouth. Hardcore. I was working at a call center in Hamilton, Ontario, and very culturally diverse, which was awesome. I liked that because you get a different perspective of the world, and different perspectives makes life interesting, don't you think? So I remember talking to, he was like one of the head guys there too. He was like one of the bosses. And he was just walking the floor, and he was a cool guy. I can't remember his name. I can picture his face plain as day, but I can't remember his name. He was a kind of a plump, jolly black man with bald hair and glasses, and he was really nice. But I remember he was walking around talking to everybody, and he was telling me about how he was in a fraternity in the States. I was like, oh shit, because we don't, as far as I know, we don't have fraternities and sororities here in Canada. I went to college, never fucking heard about that. I have friends who went to universities, and I never heard about that. But he was saying, in the States, man, those frat houses get crazy, I guess. So he was telling me about how he got branded, actually. And Key and Peele have a hilarious skit about guys branding each other in a frat house. And hopefully I can find it and link it below. Because he keeps fucking, he's doing it on his chest, and he keeps fucking it up. And he's like, no, you do upside down. No, you do it crooked. And by the time he's done, it looks like a dick. Because it's the omega symbol, and they just keep burning. And it's hilarious. Key and Peele are fucking great. Jordan, man, he's kicking ass and directing movies, and Keegan, I see him in a lot of movies too. Like, they're doing really well. Those are a couple guys I'd love to chill with one day. That'd be awesome. But anyway, okay, back to my manager. I can't remember his name. Fuck, I want to say it starts with a K. Maybe Kevin or Kyle? Shit, don't remember. Anyway, buddy, if you happen to be listening to this, I am so sorry. Because I remember one time, that same conversation of when he was telling me about the branding. He was telling me he was from the States or the Southern States originally. I can't remember which one now. My memory is shit. But I need to write everything down, like Memento. and I'm like, oh yeah, that's one of the accents I can do. And I continued to do my terrible Southern accent. And I don't remember exactly what I said. It was something along the lines of like, oh, I'm from down south. I'm just a Southern belle or something silly like that. I don't think what I said was offensive. It's the fact that I was trying to do the accent to him. He looked at me like, and then I don't think he ever talked to me again. And I felt like such a fucking idiot. Oh man, I've stuck my foot in my fucking mouth so many times trying to be funny and ended up just looking like an asshole. So again, if you happen to catch this and see this, I'm sorry, I'm just a fucking stupid ass little white girl from a small town of Dunnville, Ontario. But I mean well. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I wanted to add. Thanks so much again for watching. I really appreciate it. It's been one hell of a day for me. 10 to 10 right now. Got the little fuckers in bed finally. Once I finish these dishes, I'm gonna watch first episode of the new season of Trailer Park Boys with my man. So looking forward to that. Have a great night, everyone. Peace.